What a great day it is in the City of Five Nations. And we continue today on We Are City of Five Nations podcast, our series, 30 Days of Community Building. And today, Monday, is a special day. We have two individuals waiting backstage who have never really met each other. And they're individuals who should have a good time over the next few years because we have one of Shawnee's favorite sons, Tommy Smith from S&S Salvage, and also the commentator for many of the Shawnee High School Wolves athletic events that show right here on City of Five Nations. And today, he is going to meet for the first time Jason Sexton, who last Tuesday was named the new Shawnee High School football coach. So let's bring the gentleman on and let's have some fun. Hello, Tommy. Hello, Jason.
Hey.
You guys ready for this?
I guess so.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, I'm out of here.
All right, laters. All right, Jason. Pleasure to have you here, man. This is new to me too. This is my first interview meeting type deal on one of these broadcasts. So, how's it going?
Going well. Excited to be, getting ready to work in Shawnee here pretty soon if we ever get this virus out of the way.
I know it. Football's got to happen.
Yeah, it does. The community needs it. The world needs it right now. We need our sports back. Too many of us are becoming, couch bums.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you've been coaching for a while now. Is this your first head coaching gig?
It's my first head coaching job. I've been a defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, strength coordinator, and head powerlifting coach for the past 20 years. 14 at Midwest City High School. I actually coached 3 years before that at a Division II school, and then now 14 West City, and then the past 3 at Muskogee High School, and then heading to Shawnee for year 21.
Awesome. Well, we're happy to have you. Strength, that kind of goes hand in hand with football.
Got to have it. It's the deciding factor in most games, is your strength and conditioning. The people that are stronger, you see their programs accelerate and do good things and win on Friday nights. And the people that don't put the time into it are usually at the lower part of the rankings.
Yeah, the trenches, down in the trenches. A lot of games won right there in the lines.
In my opinion, they're all won there. Offensive and defensive line make the world go round.
So we gonna be doing any wishbone, or spreading people out? Are you gonna be doing some new, or bring some old stuff with you?
We'll bring a multiple offense. Whatever the kids that we have, which I've watched the entire season of last year on Huddle, and I think we've got a multiple quarterback who can run and throw. We've got a really good, talented young running back in Beavers, and then 4 of the linemen are returning. I'm in the process of finalizing the offensive coordinator that I'll bring, and then and then I do the defense, with the help of the other staff members. But yeah, we'll have some speed option in there. We'll have, we'll spread them out at times. We'll go 2 tight ends, go power, smash mouth football at times with 2 tight ends and H-backs, those kind of things. But we're going to be real multiple and just we're going to be doing what we have the ability to do, rather than, some coaches have an ego of, well, this is my philosophy. We're going to do what we do. Well, we're going to do what the kids allow us to do as far as different skill sets. If we got a guy that runs a 4.3 at quarterback, we probably won't have him throwing it 70 times. We're going to, we'll get some option going, and especially speed option. Not a whole lot of veer, even though it's in the package. But it'll be a week-to-week deal, and we'll do what's best for that week.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. You got a lot of talent. There's a lot of younger kids, even some freshmen playing last year for the Wolves, which is, when I was around, a freshman playing just wasn't heard of. But it's exciting for the future, get a little bit, get their feet wet early.
Sure.
And get some experience. So
I've only ever started one freshman in high school, and he just committed to Oklahoma State yesterday. So when they start as a freshman, you usually have something pretty special, and I think 28 is pretty special. Davis.
Oh yeah.
So
for sure, yeah, it kind of jumps pretty big up there from freshmen to sophomores. Start getting a little bit more physical. How you been staying busy during this quarantine? Got any treadmill at the house, or maybe just some outside runs?
a lot of lawn mowing, and I do have a treadmill at the house, and I've also got a weight bench in my garage, and so I've been getting after it a little bit, not as much as normal, but still getting after it. How about you? You just been working, or you been lifting too?
There you go. No, I'm not much of a lifter. I walk a lot. But got to go play. I'm a big lake guy. Got some barefooting out yesterday.
Nice.
Discovered I'm not getting any younger.
You're cutting out a little bit, but I'm getting the gist of it. No, none of us are getting any younger.
It's a little sore today.
I've lost volume on you.
But that'll work out. Hey, you can short. I know the main goal is to. I was seeing if you had any short-term goals. I know the ultimate goal is the gold ball, but what kind of short-term stuff we're looking at?
Well, my short-term goal is to be able to meet the players. You know, with this thing going on, haven't been able to meet with the players.
Oh yeah.
But no, we want to become, eventually, the long-term goal is the gold ball. The short-term goal is to really have high discipline and go out and execute, the things we're wanting to do. We have talented players. Now we got to put execution with it. And really that will give us an opportunity to win every game we're in. Doesn't mean we'll win every game, but I mean, we at least want to have a chance every time we step out on the field to beat whoever's out there, whether it be, a 6A team, a 5A team, OU, Chicago Bears, whoever it is. We just want to give ourselves a chance, when we step out on the field on Friday nights to get a win. And you do that with discipline, and you do that with execution.
That's awesome. And, a lot of stuff starts summertime. And
I'm sorry, if you can hear me, I've kind of lost your stream.
Yeah, we're not back to it yet, but hopefully you guys can get some summer.
All right, Tommy, we're having a little bit of trouble there in your car, and so I'm going to pop in.
Daniel's coming back.
I'm going to come in just for a second because I want to ask Coach a couple of things. Hey, Coach, tell us about your background. Where did you grow up? What was life like for Jason Sexton as a kid?
My life was pretty spectacular. I have two great parents, and I've got four brothers. So it was pretty much a barnyard brawl every day, playing basketball and whatever else we were doing outside. We had lots of animals, cows, goats, pigs, all those kind of things, which we got to feed and clean up after and all that fun stuff. But no, having four brothers has been the best blessing to me in my life. You automatically have four best friends. It may be four best friends that you punch in the face, but they're still your best friends through the rest of your life. And so growing up for me was good. I went to Carl Albert High School. We were able to win a state championship there. Then went to Oklahoma State and played there. Got beat by Drew Brees in the Alamo Bowl, but it was still a good experience. And then, the coaching career has been, the 3 years in Division II, 14 at Midwest City, and then 3 at Muskogee High School. And then, like I said, I'm excited for year 21 at Shawnee.
Man, you may not – well, obviously you don't know it, but you just touched on a few things that really interested me. First of all, 21, Coach, that's always been my favorite number.
Well, it's Barry Sanders, man. That's my favorite player.
That's awesome. And for me, it was Terry Metcalf. We're in a little bit of a different generation there. But when I saw him, the Super Bowl, I would call him, he'd be bouncing off Jim Hart with the little screen, Eric Coryell, the original out there. That young man, I know he brought up a son as well who played for the other side, but he was rock and roll for me.
I was going to say, Eric went in the first round to the Cleveland Browns, so his son Eric was a heck of a football player. Sounds like just like his daddy. You are right. We may be in a little different time frame with you, his dad being one of your favorite players and his son being one of mine. But I thought he was a really good player at like as you say, the other side at Texas. Didn't want him to win ever against one of our state schools, but I thought he's a really good player, but not as good as Barry.
Well, in another one from Texas, unfortunately, you're talking about Breezy. The Saints are my team, man. I was in New Orleans the day that the St. Louis Cardinals moved to Phoenix, and I was like, this is awesome, because I'm pretty much a homer. Born in St. Louis, I've always been a Cardinals fan, always been a Blues fan, and I was always a St. Louis football fan, but Dallas would always get them right at the end, and St. Louis never could break through. So I've always disliked the Cowboys, but I was in New Orleans when they moved to Phoenix. So the day of liberation was my entry and my birth into Sackhead Nation. It was back when they had the sacks on their heads.
Yeah, I've seen them on some commercials doing that, where they used to have those sacks on their head. What was that during the was there a walkout or some sort of labor dispute? And they called them.
Oh, well, I'll just tell you, no, it was just the Aints, man. It was just how they played. And they got, talking about another Texas boy, and you mentioned him, they've got Breezy. And as soon as Breezy hit town with another Texas guy, Coach Sean Payton,
right,
they started blowing it away, and it became the new America's team. They're my team.
Breeze is arguably, one of the top quarterbacks to ever play the game, is yardage-wise. And he's not that big of a guy. I always liked him a lot. They list him at 6 foot, and like I said, I was on that same field, and he's not 6 foot.
That's right. Not only yardage, he's got the TDs. I mean, last year, throwing with the records. I mean, I agree. I don't understand why he's not talked up there with the greatest of all time. He's got his Super Bowl victory. He brought it to a city that was always down. And anyway, it's been a lot of fun. Hey, Tommy, it's good to have you back. Talk to us. Let me see how strong your signal is.
Yeah, man, I'm not the greatest technology guy either here.
I'm in the same boat.
My best. I just moved around a little bit. Catching some different words.
Well, Tommy, let me ask you a question. Tommy, let me ask you a question. So, Wolves state championship team, that's your freshman year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so freshman through senior year, do you have a particular moment on the football team that always stands out to you as the Tommy Smith moment? It doesn't have to be a great play or something. It's just that football moment that you think would be good for Coach Sexton to hear about. Or maybe not good for Coach Sexton to hear about.
I'm terrible. I can't hear anything.
Okay. Well, we're going to kick you off, and I'll finish it up, okay?
Yeah. Good to meet you, Tommy.
That's awesome. Tommy, thank you very much for taking your time today. This is in no way a blow-off, man. You are, one of my favorite people. I look forward to talking to you soon. Coach, you're not going to find a better guy than Tommy Smith, I'll tell you what.
He seems like a good one.
Well, you can ask Coach Boyer, I guess your new boss, about Tommy. Coach Boyer had Tommy on the baseball team for 4 years as well.
Yeah, sounds like a good athlete and a good guy in the community, and somebody I'll like to continue to get to know. I played center field at Carl Albert also, so I'll support the heck out of the baseball program and all the programs at Shawnee. But you'll catch me in the stands sunbathing during some of the Shawnee games because I love to be up. I love to be at the games at the ballpark.
Well, that'd be great. You can come in and talk with us as Tommy does some play-by-play. He'd be honored to have you sitting next to him. It'd be kind of fun. That'd
be great. I'd enjoy it.
Yeah, maybe when Carl Albert now, as you come into Shawnee, Carl Albert, and we're dropping back down into 5A, which is going to be a lot of fun. Carl Albert, of course, golly, are they on a 56-game winning streak? Something like that. Well,
they got beat this year by Piedmont.
Okay.
Now they came back and beat everybody else on the schedule and won another championship, but they got it going pretty good over there. Coach Rose got it started, and and then handed it off to Coach Corley, who does a great job. So those guys do a good job, and they're a good team. And that's where we're aiming to be is to be up there competing, and not just competing and beating the Carl Alberts of the world and those people like that have the strong tradition that Shawnee has had in the past. With, like you said, the state championship and the gold ball, and that's our goal. That's what we want to get to is winning gold balls.
Right. And, when we played Carl Albert, when we were in district, and Carl Albert, Guthrie, and Shawnee always were nemesis for each other, and always great games down to the wire. And in fact, in the last number of years, Shawnee may have a winning record against Carl Albert, like over the last 15 years. That's odd. And one of the things is it's just one of those rivalry games against Carl Albert and against Guthrie. And what's your mentality towards coming up against a tough opponent, one that perhaps might have you outmanned a little bit? How do you attack somebody like that on the football field?
Legal violence. You'll hear me say it over and over and over. Legal violence. You just keep hitting and hitting and hitting until they don't get up. And all legal, all, things that are not penalized. But somebody that's extremely talented maybe has you out-talented. You have to out-tough them, and you do that with legal violence and a little bit of pain. Okay, sometimes pain makes guys not run as fast or not, get to the ball to tackle as quickly. So, like I said, a little bit of legal violence goes a long way.
Hey, you said that you grew up with 5 brothers, or one of 5 brothers. Where were you in line with your brothers?
I was second. I'm the second. So I was pretty good position, not the oldest to where everything gets tried out on you by your parents, but not the youngest where you're getting beat down every day in the basketball games.
Well, and the second is kind of the enforcer, isn't it?
It has been. It's funny you say that. I've never heard that, but it has been.
Well, I grew up in a big family too. We had 6 kids, and that second one pretty much had that voice because they knew, okay, most of the responsibility is going to either go above them or below them. So they were kind of the silent type that could come in and enforce the discipline.
if need be, and especially in a big family, as you well know, if your parents don't know who did it, then they blame all of you. You all get in trouble. So if I had a brother that was being a knucklehead, I knew I was going to get in trouble too. So sometimes he would get his tough love from me.
I understand that, man. So tell us about your OSU days. What position did you play? And you came through Carl Albert. So was Coach Rose, I would think, was your coach as well, and he's a Shawnee native.
I was not aware of that. But now Coach Rose was one of my coaches. I was actually during a weird time. I had 3 different head coaches, with Coach Rose being the last one. Coach Pebb was my sophomore year, and we won a state championship. He went ahead and retired, went out a winter. They brought in Todd Graham, who's now the head coach at Hawaii University. They brought in Todd for a year, and then he moved on down the road to Texas, and we had Coach Rose come in with his staff, and a lot of those guys were from Del City. But no, I wasn't aware that Coach Rose was a Wolf.
Yeah, he had roots right here in the city of 5 Nations. And one of my favorite people and another member of that state championship back in 2003, Eugene Young, he was a 2-time wrestling champion. And for a long time, Shawnee has had a wonderful wrestling tradition, as long as football and baseball. And way back when, a wonderful, actually tennis just would rattle through state championships in tennis. So overall, the sports have been great. I'm wondering, how will you work together with wrestlers in the sense of, in your philosophy, I know a lot of coaches like how wrestling improves footwork, improves agility and movement and different things, including balance. But how do you work alongside your wrestling programs?
I'm fairly unique in the fact that I want our kids to play as many sports as they possibly can. If anywhere they can play and they enjoy it, I feel like they need to be out there. And then one of the things with wrestling is I'm also the head powerlifting coach at Shawnee, and a lot of times those two don't mesh well. But what I do is, they have the same principles: toughness, strength, all those kind of deals. And so what I do is I encourage our kids to wrestle and powerlift, because they're in the same season. Regionals and state come after the state meet for wrestling, so they don't really conflict in any of those areas. But they work off each other and they help each other. So I've had very, very good relationships with wrestling coaches at the places that I've been. And in turn, those places have been very successful. Midwest City was on 4. Jody Marple was there, and it was at the beginning of my time there. And we did the same thing. We shared powerlifters and wrestlers, and I think they won 3 or 4 in a row. So it goes hand in hand. And, we want every sport to be elite at Shawnee, So I think that that's, from my end, that's what we'll do is we'll share kids because, there's only so many running around. And if they're your star quarterback or, star point guard, well, they can translate that into another sport because they're a talented kid. And they may as well go out and play and enjoy their high school years in as many sports as they can.
Well, I know Coach Nick Turner enjoyed a wonderful first year in a renaissance of the wrestling program in the sense of just a new enthusiasm from Nick coming in. And he looks forward to meeting you. I know. I talked with him last week, and he was asking me questions that I didn't know the answer to. But now I get to say, well, he played against Breeze. That's pretty cool. And he came from 5 brothers. That's pretty cool. So it sounds like you guys are going to get along. I think you're really going to like Nick Turner. Look him up. Nick T, I think, is his handle.
I'm excited to meet him. We've got mutual friends that say nothing but great things about him. And, called me up this past week, and it was an old wrestling guy that I had known from a previous spot. And he said, "You're going to really like this wrestling coach." I said, "Well, if we ever get off coronavirus, house arrest," I said, "but then I'll get up there and meet him, and I'm sure I will like him." And I look forward to working with all the coaches at the school. I'm just excited about some new people, and I've heard good things, so it'll be good.
Well, the City of Five Nations, Jason, I think you're going to fall in love with very quickly. There's a lot of wonderful things happening. It's a community that's burgeoning now with health and wellness on the forefront of all of our minds. It's also burgeoning that we're a city for everybody. We want everybody within our community to prosper, and that all begins a lot of times at our school system, and the high school, of course, being the crown jewel. The leadership that are in the middle school, in the high school, up at the top of the administration, I think that you're going to very well like, and I think that you'll be able to get along, and you'll have every opportunity for success with the kids that are going to be in front of you.
Well, like I said, I haven't got to meet, a ton of the faculty, but I have got to meet the administration and talk with them at length, and great people doing good things, really good things, and care about your kids and care about everybody that's going to school there and want to give them a great education. And those people that I have met are fantastic.
Well, that's great to hear. We look forward, Coach, to having you in town. Maybe we can go out to lunch sometime. We bring a lot of people together and have a good time getting you to know the town a little bit.
I'd love it. You guys need to show me around, introduce me to some folks, and we'll get that thing rolling down there. And everybody in the community will be excited about football and all the sports at Shawnee. And it's just better whenever, when you've got really good athletic teams to go support. Because, those kids, they've been around town, you're related, you got nephews and things like that. And it just becomes an electric atmosphere whenever all the athletic programs are doing really, really well. So I look forward to that.
No better entertainment value than high school sports. And when you have kids that are involved in their extracurricular activities and they feel like they're a part of something that's winning and something that has potential to go very far, they tend to feel that way about themselves as well. And so we can help a lot of different areas by having successful athletic and extracurricular activities throughout our school system. And what a great addition, Coach Sexton, that you're going to be to our community. Thanks for taking time with us today on We Are City of Five Nations podcast.
Anytime, and I'll take you up on that lunch.
That'll be great, man. We'll bring Tommy along, so we'll be laughing through the whole thing.
Sounds good.
All right. Have a great day, man. You've been watching We Are City of Five Nations podcast. Today's guest, Tommy Smith, did a great job. Thank you, Tommy, for leading Coach along as you did in helping us to understand his football philosophies better. And Coach Sexton, who last week was named the new Shawnee High School head football coach, here to lead a very talented squad coming into the junior and senior seasons, the group that he has to work with. So it should be an exciting year on the gridiron. Hopefully we'll all get back on schedule back in late August and September, and we'll have a lot of fun cheering the Wolves to what we hope will be another gold ball. Here on the City of Five Nations podcast, we've been performing, I guess, the series 30 Days of Community Building, and how wonderful it's been so far. We've hit number 27 tomorrow, and we hope that you tune in with us, because here in the City of Five Nations, together We are building community one season at a time. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.